Powerlifting at this point in my life means so much and so much more than I ever thought that it could.
It's really cool. We interact really well, and there's a lot of love.
Especially as a woman, you feel very capable and strong.
Powerlifting has started in 1972. When I became involved in powerlifting, we had men and women competition separately, and we brought then men and women together.
The years before this was, a male-dominant sport. Females have come into the sport, and we're showing that we can be really strong and capable too. So that's a really good feeling.
In IPF, in our sport, every time somebody is there to help out. And I think this is a very good values, to be honest, to be fair play, to respect each other. I'm motivated by all the friendship we have over the world, that it's for me a much bigger value than having a lot of money.
It's not only something that I love to do as a sport, but it's so many friends, I've seen so many things, and I've had so many opportunities that I never ever dreamed I could have.
It's really cool to come to people from France or Italy or Germany or Japan, and we all have this commonality of wanting to be strong and better powerlifters, and it kind of brings us together.
Everything has to match, especially we, as physios or as coaches, we try to maximize what the athletes can perform in this time frame, and we try to give our best.
So they can do their best.
It's really cool that now I have friends in a community across the world, opposed to just like within my city, and like we get along great. I message them all the time on like Instagram or whatever the case may be, just like check in. The silver lining to it all, it teaches you to continue to work. It teaches you that there's still stuff to be done. It pushes you to be better, to do more. Sometimes if you're at the top, you can get complacent.
My dream is that we should become IOC recognized sport. The athletes fighting for the medals, and I'm fighting for the IOC recognition, and I say every time to the athletes, never give up.
And that's a wrap. Let's go see the competition.
A wonderful morning at the IPF World Classic and Equipped Sub-Junior and Junior Powerlifting Championships here live from Cluj-Napoca in Romania. This is day 3 and my name is Elias de Buc from Belgium, and I'm here with...
This is Emilia Potter. Good morning, Elias. It's been so exciting so far. How are you finding it?
I find it amazing. The quality of these lifters is amazing. We had some dramatic sessions so far, very exciting.
Yeah, dramatic to say the least. We've seen tears of joy, of sadness, and medals, battles, and I don't think today will be any different.
Me neither. And we are already starting off with the 83 kg sub-juniors and juniors.
Setting 155 kilograms on the bar.
I think the graphic on the screen is for the wrong athlete there.
So the first athlete stepping onto the platform is David Stanis from Romania, and he will be opening with 155 kg.
Yeah, so it'll be a mix of the sub-junior and junior men this morning, and if you want to know which one they land in, it will say above the name as the graphic comes up. David Stanis of Romania is a sub-junior. He is only 16 years of age. So under the age of 18 is the sub-juniors, and 19 to 23 is the junior class.
Thank you for that clarification. Looks like a lovely squat.
And that is a good lift. A nice strong start to the day.
So for those new to the live stream, we are having our equipped lifters, and later this week we will have our classic competition. The difference is in equipment. The equipped have their knee reps and their squat suits for the squat event. Next up to the platform, Alex Janowicz from Poland.
Yeah, it's not completely unheard of as well to see some athletes not using equipped gear in the equipped as well. And I'm sure we will see that as the day goes on. But as you can see here, Alex is wearing knee wraps. And I'm not sure if he's wearing a squat suit, actually.
I think it's a normal singlet. He's opening with 165.
Wow, that was deep.
It was very deep. No doubt about that.
Yeah, 3 white lights, a good lift. Yeah, I mean, we talk about a lot of athletes walking the line of depth, you know, just dipping in, but Alex here, you can see in the replay, almost Olympic level depth there.
Yeah. So for those who don't know yet, proper depth is when the hip crease is below the top of the knee.
Yeah, so that's what we have. We have the 3 referees to look out for that, and usually the side referees are a little more able to be able to view that properly.
So next up, Jacob Golianek from Poland, and he will be opening with 220 kilos. Lovely opener here, there.
There's a good lift for Jakob.
The bar is loaded for Ivan Nikitin.
Next up, we have Ihor Nikitin from Ukraine, and he will be opening with 225 kg. We're already at the 4 plates.
Yeah, Ihor opening on his current squat PB, which is quite common actually to see sub-juniors do so around their PB and above because they progress at such an aggressive rate a lot of the time.
He's going into the hole really carefully, searches for depth. Let's see what the referees say.
Yeah, that's a good lift. And you can hear his coach from the side there telling him, keep going down, keep going down, keep going down. And when he hit depth, he said, now. And, you know, well, I assume I don't speak the language. Yeah, I'm very talented. But no, that's what we hear from a lot of the equipped coaches to help the athletes know when they found depth. Because with the knee straps on, it's a lot harder. Knee wraps, I'm sorry.
And here is a fellow Belgian, Gregory Osteen, and he will be opening with 245 kg.
Yeah, so this is 10 kilos above his best, and Gregory is a junior, so a little less common to see in the juniors and the sub-juniors, but still not crazy to see. Pretty wide stance there, actually.
Searches for depth. And
Yeah.
comes up nice and easy.
Slow and steady wins the race there for Gregory. And it's a good lift. Could give David Wilson a run for his money with that squat width there.
Going for 255 kilograms. Usain Bolt. The bar is loaded.
We are moving on to our next lifter, Yusei Goto from Japan. And he is opening with 255 kg.
21 years old, but not new to the sport by any means. He's been competing for 7 years already. So very an accomplished lifter at this young age. Really strong on the way up there.
Was a really nice looking squat.
That is a good lift. You can tell he's had a lot of experience on the platform by the way that he executed that first squat.
The bar is loaded for Lucas Rosenthal.
We are moving on to our next competitor, Lucas Rosenthal.
Opening on 260 kilos. Nice, strong, steady walk out there for Lucas. Super controlled on the way down. Dips into the hole. And he's looking really strong.
See what the referees say, and it's a good lift.
Coming up next is Sam Ignatius from India. The bar is loaded 260 kilograms. Sam Ignatius from India.
We are having our next lifter up. Also with 260 kilos, Sam Ignatius from India.
That's a super cool last name there. Sam Ignatius.
Does have a nice ring to it.
Could be a superhero.
Well, this is surely superhero strength, 260 kilos. Searching for depth.
Yeah, looking really strong there. The Indian team have been doing so well here in the Equip Championships the last few days. And it is a good lift, following in the footsteps of his teammates.
Trying 260 kilograms. The bar is loaded.
And the bar is loaded for Valentin Kolev from Bulgaria. The third lifter in a row with 260 kilos.
I believe Valentin is the first Bulgarian lifter we've had so far this championship, so it's always nice to see the countries come in with representation.
And what you are seeing here is the lifter is opting for an inward position of the rack arms.
Yeah, so this can be for a couple of reasons. To avoid clipping the rack, which we've seen be an issue for a lot of the athletes. In the super heavies, you usually see them grab the bar outside.
Nice and controlled.
Ooh,
Nope.
I was about to
Good
say
catch.
lovely and deep, but I think the trade-off there was
Yeah.
quite difficult to stand up. So let's have a look at the replay here and see if we can catch whether that was a strength issue. Maybe he just sunk it a little bit too much. So it was incredibly deep, but it looks like he just struggled to get back up from that position.
Props to Valentin though. He misgrooved it, but he stayed with the bar. He didn't let go. So for his own safety and for the safety of the spotters, that's
Yeah.
really what we want.
100% there.
So we are moving on to Oskar Dahlqvist from Sweden, 265 kg. Nice and steady walkout.
A little bit hard, but he manages to stand it up. And 2-1, a good lift. Just a depth call from the left-hand side referee. And perhaps, I'm not sure what you think, Alias, there, but a little harder than you might want an opener to be.
Yeah, I think an opener should be something you can do in any circumstances. Even, for example, we have seen in previous sessions when, for example, you have to re-reg the bar and you don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, people have got the squat command with 2 seconds to go and managed to do it because the weight was good enough and light enough for them.
But it was no problem for Oscar, so a good choice for him. And we are moving on to Lars Engo Monsen from Norway. 270 kilos.
That was a really lovely looking opening attempt from Lars there. Really controlled all the way down, dips very quickly into the hole and stands it up with great power and great control. And we've seen a few lifters with a similar technique and it worked really well for them all the way through their squats. Fantastic first attempt and a good lift.
The bar is loaded. David Roberts, Ukraine.
We are seeing our next competitor walking onto the platform. David Rubets from Ukraine, also 270 kilos
Yeah, I
for his
believe.
opener weight.
Sorry there. I believe he's the younger brother of Alexander Rubets of Ukraine. So a lot of strength in the family.
And we've seen a lot of Ukrainian lifters so far.
A tiny sticking point in the middle there, managed to fight through it and did a really good job considering that is his current squat PB. So a really good, strong start to the day. And hopefully the sticking point was a case of nerves more than anything else.
We are passing the 600-pound mark. We have our next lifter up, Davide Secetti from Italia.
This is 5 plates either side. Very strong start. And paused it in the hole there. Wow. Saying not only can I squat it deep enough, I'll pause it for you as well so you can see.
Imagine what he can do if he doesn't pause.
Yeah, it could lift 3 white lights. How impressive is that? Somebody forgot to tell him that we're not doing variations anymore. It is comp day.
Try to be a little bit more comp specific then.
Yeah. But so impressive, a good lift.
Amelia, can you explain to the to watchers at home what do we mean with competition specific?
Yeah, so competition specific lifts will be the type of lifts you see here in competition. You have the squat, the bench, the deadlift. Variations will include obviously different pauses, tempos, but you want to train how you're going to compete, and that's kind of what we mean in that phrase there.
On the platform, we are seeing Rishabh Kala from India with 285 kg. Nice and strong.
Very strong and tidy looking open there, and a good lift, 3 white lights, and has been competing for 10 years already, and he is just a junior, so wow, an incredible decade of experience under his belt already.
And
help
that
him.
concluded the first round. We are now heading into our second round of squats. For the watchers at home that are new to the sport, we always have our first, second and third round of every lift.
Yeah, and we will be heading into a short 20-minute break between a squat and bench because there is only one flight of lifters this morning.
So onto the platform now is David Stanis from Romania. And he jumped 7.5 kilos to 162.5.
That was a good moving second attempt there. Some room left in the tank to go to your third, and that's exactly what you want, really. You don't want to max out on your second. You don't want to burn all the energy that you have. You want somewhere to go for your third because you have that attempt to continue to add kilos to your total.
I am not sure where our next competitor is.
A lot of the time in Equip, because the flights can be a little shorter, they take a bit of time to get in and out of their gear. So with the flights being so short, that could very much be the case that he just needed the time to get his stuff on. And I think he is now in the wings, just preparing himself. But he still has 20 seconds to get that start command. And here he comes.
Alex Janowicz from Poland with 175 is gonna have to step it up. 10 seconds. He only needs to have the squat command before the clock runs out. No.
Unfortunately, yeah, he had to really rush there, and I think we spoke on that a little bit earlier, where he doesn't have time to really physically or mentally prepare himself. So hopefully he can get his coaches to keep a bit better eye on the time heading into his third, and he can prepare himself better with the full minute for that.
We are moving on to Jakub Golianek from Poland, and he has jumped 10 kilos from his opener. Just a little bit shaky on the walkout.
Nice and deep, and a really nice second there. I think a 10 kilo jump was a smart decision, and maybe we'll see a slightly smaller one there heading to his third.
Trying 235 kilograms. The bar is loaded for Ihor Viginin.
Next up to the platform, Ihor Nikitin from Ukraine. The spotters cheering him on. And he also took a 10 kilo jump, 235 kilos.
Ooh, a little bit of trouble there it seems. I think he tried to dip it into the hole pretty quickly, but actually just lost a lot of tension, but manages to pull it off anyway. We can see that again here in the replay. I think he just loses tension.
Yeah,
right
I was
there.
about to say that.
His body tips forward, but he does such a good job to still get that up. You know how hard it is to lose tension when you're in the hole, especially with all that gear on. So fantastic job.
The bar is loaded for a deep college.
Walking onto the platform, our Bulgarian lifter, Valentin Kolev. And he's retaking 260 kilos.
Yeah, just missed it on his opener. A smart decision to keep the same weight. Very rarely going up when you don't have a lift on the board. Is that the right decision to make?
Let's see if it was a technical issue or not.
So yeah, really careful as he goes down.
Wow, and that looked like a completely different squat. Well, let's see what the referees have to say about that.
Oh, unfortunately, it's 2-1, a no left. He gets called from the center and side referee. We'll see here in the replay for depth. And
Yeah.
it really does walk that line, and I'm not sure if the jury will turn that over. I can't see them really having a conversation about it. So he has one more attempt at that on his third, and it puts him in a really precarious situation heading into that, because you need to have at least one squat, one bench, one deadlift to be able to post a total and to compete overall.
Our next lifter, Yusei Goto from Japan. 265 kilos. Also a 10 kilo jump from his opener. This is nearing his personal best of 270. So let's see how he can move this weight.
Stands it up nice and strong.
Really
See
strong.
what the referees say about that, and it is a good lift. We'll see that from a side view here in the replay. I think when you see it from the front view, the depth can be misleading, and that's why it's always so hard to call depth from the front, but also why we have two side referees.
And don't forget, the referees have the best seats in the house to decide, to judge. So whatever we see on the replay, they see it in a split second, and that's why we also have a jury.
Yeah, as well as that, you know, the camera only has one angle, and they're there in person.
All right, so we have now a 20 kilo jump for Gregory Osten from Belgium. He jumped to 265 kilos. What do you think about big jumps?
A bit of a wobbly walk out there, but as we get into these slightly mid to heavier weight classes, it is more common, especially if that's how they're used to training. Ooh, but unfortunately, it just seemed a bit too much for Gregory there.
Unfortunately, hopefully he can come back from that.
Yeah, paused a little bit in the hole there, and unfortunately just could not regain the motion and power on the way up.
We're already going into the next lift from Lucas Rosenal, Czechia. 270 kilos.
Pretty new to the sport, having only competed for 2 years and already on this international platform. Wow.
It's the same technique as the last time.
Yeah, super controlled down, dips in and stands it nice and quick, and it is a good lift. Yeah, and he looks like he's got loads left in the tank there. Should he want to make another relatively big jump, maybe another 10 kilo jump could even be there for him, should he choose to take it.
And he's opting to jump 12 and a half actually.
So even more confident than we thought.
Yeah. And now another lifter on the platform, 272.5 kg from Oskar Dahlqvist from Sweden. He's been competing for 5 years.
Oh, a really good push through there.
And the referees say it's
Yeah.
a good lift.
3 white lights, a good lift. And that was matching his current best. So hopefully he can add a few more kilos to that in his third. I think perhaps nearing his top end there, but not quite there yet. A couple extra kilos he could probably squeeze out.
I think you're right. A 15 kilo jump from his opener for our superhero, Sam Ignatius.
Yeah, superhero jump, a superhero name.
He's representing India.
And his opener was really nice, and I think justifies the 15 kilo jump.
Searching for that little sticking point, but he manages to drive it through.
Yeah, 2 to 1, a good lift. Just a depth call from one of the side referees, which we can see here in the replay.
From Norway is going to try 282.5 kilos. The bar is working. Come on, Lars, come on.
Next up, we have Lars Engo Monsen from Norway. Took a 12.5 kilo jump from his opener, 282.5 kilo.
Yeah, already opening on his best with 270, so big improvements here should she get this. And he does with some considerable ease as well. And his 3 white lights, a good lift.
Very nice squat attempt. He has some room left.
Yeah, absolutely. He's put himself in a great position heading into the third attempt there. And he's currently projected in first overall, with Sacchetti close on his tail on predicted totals.
Talking about Davide Sacchetti, he's up next. Our Italian lifter, 285 kilos for his second. Took a 10 kilo jump.
And again, a slight pause there in the bottom of the hole.
It wasn't anything near like the first one.
No, this was just a 1 count. And that's 3 white lights, a good lift. Maybe on his third attempt, he'll just scrap the pause altogether. But an incredible lifter.
Very nice and consistent all the way through. We are going into the last sub-junior from the second round. And he jumped 15 kilos from his opener. Also taking 285 as a sub-junior. David Rubets from Ukraine.
Yeah, and already on projected totals, he has a 62.5 kilo lead. So you just need to make sure he gets lifts in on the board. But an incredibly strong young man, only 18 years old here in the sub-juniors. Yeah,
Manages to drive it up.
He's going to want to be careful, though, not to lean over any more than that, because I think if he does, he'll struggle to get that start command. You can see here it's just about upright, but if he leans over any more, I think he will struggle. But looking so incredibly strong and charging ahead there in the 83 kilo sub-junior men.
295 kilograms. The ball is ready. Let's give it up for Lucia.
We are heading into our final lift of the second round. A monster squat. Almost nearing that milestone. 295 kilos from the Rishabh Kala, India.
Yeah, this is a 3.5 times body weight squat on his second attempt. So incredibly impressive. Wow.
Very strong.
And yeah, that is a good lift, and no doubt about it, has
And with-
still loads of room to go for his third.
And with that, he is taking the lead in the squat event. And we are already preparing to start the third round.
And as we head in, you just got a glimpse of the scoreboard of where that leaves us on squats. Just as a reminder, we'll have a 20-minute break as soon as the 83 kilo men finish their squats.
Stepping onto the platform for his third and final squat. David Stanis from Romania, taking a 10 kilo jump this time, 172.5. Ooh,
yeah.
great catch.
Just tipped forward over towards his neck there, pushed his whole torso forward, and as you said, a fantastic catch from the spotters and loaders there to keep him safe and to keep him folding in half.
Let's take a look at the replay. Yeah, he pushes his hips forward and then the bar rolls forward on his neck, and he was done for.
Yeah, there was no coming back from that, so really fantastic job to keep him safe and from hurting himself there.
Next up, we have Alex Janowicz from Poland, and he will be retaking his second attempt. He already has a valid squat in, so he is safe. He can make a total. Let's see if he can build to that total.
Ooh, just a little bit too heavy today, it seems, for him, but as you said, he still has one squat in, which means he can continue forward to bench, safe, knowing he can build that total. Interesting that he's chosen to wear knee wraps, but not a squat suit though. You don't often see that. You see kind of raw or equipped, but not so often a mix of the two.
The ball is loaded. Jakub Golianek, Poland.
Jakub Golianek from Poland, jumping 7.5 kilos, 237.5.
This will bring him into squat silver for the time being and will be a 7.5 kilo squat PB for Jakub should he get this.
He's already got bronze on squat.
Wow, did so well to keep his form and push through that. And it is a good lift. He moves into squat silver, which can only be taken away now by Nikitin of Ukraine, should he make his next squat.
The squat gold has already been decided in the sub-juniors from David Rubitz.
Yeah.
And he has put in a monster number. You'll be seeing that in a bit. But next up, Ihor Nikitin. He's having a bit of a delay. He has less than 30 seconds. That is the beep that you hear on the screen.
He sprints on,
Yeah.
giving himself as much time to set up as possible. He looks agitated, ready to lift.
He has
10
still
seconds left on the clock. And with 2 seconds left, he gets the squat command.
Wow! And even with that little time, he gets it. 3 white lights, and he has taken squat silver from Golianek.
Wow, what an absolutely fantastic last squat from him. Honestly, I wasn't sure if he was going to make that squat command, and then even after that, he had very little time to set up for it, so did a great job.
And now we should be taking a look at Valentin Kolev from Bulgaria. Amelia, he hasn't gotten a squat in yet, but he has still opted to jump 10 kilos. What do you think about that?
I think in equipped, it's more common to see if they need the little help getting into the hole, they need a bit more weight on their back, and that's been his problem. It's been depth, not strength. So I think maybe in this case, it could be a smart move, but if he thinks that's what he needs to get the depth, fine, but it's still so risky.
Let's see if he can correct his depth this time. I think that was way better.
Yeah, that looked miles better, and I think he might have saved himself there and got an extra 10 kilos.
Great lift, 3 white lights, and he's happy, I'm happy, and I bet his coach is happy.
Yeah, a huge sigh of relief, I imagine, and probably not ending too far away from where he wanted to by going up 10 kilos for his third. So a great example of that actually working out in his favor. But I have to say, 9 out of 10 times it probably won't.
It's very important to take a look at yourself and have that conversation with yourself. Is this a smart move or not? Onto the third squat for Yusei Goto from Japan. 272.5 kg. For the Imperial system, 600 pounds.
Yeah, this is an absolutely monstrous squat.
Wow.
And unfortunately, it just wasn't deep enough for the referees. He gets 2-1, a no lift. He gets the red calls from the sides. It's a hard call. As the athletes usually get a little bit more body weight, their legs are bigger and it's harder to tell depth. And the jury has overruled it.
Yeah, I was just about to say the coach is going to the jury, and the jury has put it in his favor.
Yeah, that is now a good lift. And I did think it was a little bit harsh there. I think they mistook his bigger legs for lack of depth.
It's a very good insight. But we're already moving into the next lifter. Our Swedish lifter, Oskar Dahlqvist from Sweden. 277.5 kg.
He is fighting through that. I think he's got it. Wow, what an incredible fight from Oskar there. And it is a good lift.
And you saw his knees caving in. So I really thought he was about to lose it.
Yeah, because up until now, his knees have kind of stayed pretty firm ahead of his toes, and that's the first time, like you said, we've seen his knees cave.
We talked about that yesterday as well. If you see a change in technique, usually it's not for the better. But in this case, it was all right. He pushed through, was right on the money.
Yeah, and as you said, you know, when you see the knee caves come in and we don't normally see it, it usually means it's harder to push through, but he did a great job of doing so.
So our next lifter trying to go for a bronze medal in the squat event, Lucas Rosenal from Czechia, jumping 12.5 kilos to 282.5.
And this will pull him to squat bronze for the time being. As Alias just said. Again, so controlled on the way down. Dips in, stands it up. Was that deep enough?
2-1. 2 reds from the center and the right side referee.
Yeah, I do think he cut it a little higher than he did for his last couple, and it really walked the line there.
And this was the good side. This was the side that he got a wide on,
Yeah,
and it
so
was on the border.
unfortunately, that is a no lift.
The bar is loaded for our superhero. Sam Ignatius from India, 285. Now he is trying to take a shot at the bronze medal in the squat event.
Yeah, he jumped 10 kilos this time round, and I think that's more than justified. The 15 kilos barely touched the sides.
Hit the rack a little bit, but didn't phase him. Wow.
Gotta say, he
Yeah.
definitely had more in him, but not deep enough today, unfortunately. He gets 2 reds and a yellow. So let's have a look at that replay. I think he cut it quite high here. Yeah, just a couple inches above parallel.
On this angle, you can really see it way better. Unfortunately. But then our next lifter, Norwegian lifter Lars Engo Monsen, he already has squat bronze, but this to try and improve it to a silver medal position in the squat event. We'll only have 2 other lifters after that.
Yeah, and also more importantly, it will build his total by 5 extra kilos, and Sacchetti of Italy is really close behind him by just 2.5 kilos.
And I think he made a smart decision with the 287.5. 3 white lights, good lift.
Yeah, and all the way through, his squats have looked so tidy, and did not lose that on his third and final attempt when it got a little bit heavier.
And like you said, the prognosis, he is in first place. And now his competitor, Davide Sacchetti from Italy, he is right behind them. Should he get this, he really wants to get this lift if he doesn't want to widen the gap between him.
Yeah, and should he get this, of course, he moves into squat silver from bronze, has already secured the bronze, and as you so well said just then, to close the gap between him and his competitor, Engo Monsen.
For squat silver, searches depth, and he stands up.
Yeah, he still paused it, and it looked good. And it is a good lift. He has closed that gap and taken squat silver. And you know what? He did it paused. A fantastic third attempt from both of those squatters there.
For the last 2 and last two heaviest squats of the squat event today in the 83 kg class. We have David Rubits from Ukraine, a sub-junior who will be attempting 300 kilograms.
Yeah, he is already in the lead, already got squat gold with his opener. This will be for a personal win. This will be a 15 kilo PB for David.
He has also a vast gap on the prognosis in the total. But for now, we look at his squat. Emilia, just like you said, he needs to look at his torso angle.
He gets the squat command. And he flies through it. Can he stand up? Oh, they took that too early, I think.
Early, yeah. And he's even helping the spotters. But he's like, why did you take it? I wasn't going down yet.
Yeah, let's just look at that replay and just make sure we didn't miss any sort of downwards movement. Yeah, they took that before there was any downwards movement, unfortunately. And even if he got a second attempt at that, I'm not sure he'd have the energy to push through again.
Me neither. But keep in mind, the spotters try to keep the lifter safe when they think the lifter is in any kind of danger.
Yeah.
They have to make a split-second decision. We have the replay, we have the slow-mo. So we have it easy to say it was a bit too early.
I do agree with that, but on the other hand, we'll already how the lifter's feeling right now. They're there to save them when they fail, not before they fail.
That's true. That's 100% true. And we can't say for sure whether he could have gotten it or not.
And I think that's where the frustration will lie.
Yeah. Some wise words. And now for our last squat. Rishabh Kala from India, 305 kilos.
Wow, he fights through it, gets the rack command, but was that deep enough for the referees this time round? And unfortunately, it is just not deep enough. The strength is there, but as we know, athletes tend to, when the weight gets heavier, they get a little bit more nervous and they tend to cut depth a little bit.
We are going to take a look at the scoreboard. So for the sub-juniors, we have in first place position David Rubits from Ukraine with a 285 kilo squat, followed by his teammate Ihor Nikitin with 240 kilos, and in third place position Jakub Golianek from Poland with 237 kilos. We're moving on to the juniors. We have Rishabh Kala with 295 kilos. In second place, we have Davide Secchetti from Italy in second place. And in the third place position, we have Lars Engo Mansen from Norway. We will be taking a short 20-minute break. Don't go anywhere for the next action and the next event, the bench press.
The bench press is the second movement performed in a powerlifting competition. It's a movement that mainly uses upper body strength. A slight back arch is authorized and allows for a stronger and healthier shoulder positioning. Laying down on the bench, the athlete has to create points of contact between his head, shoulder, glutes, and the bench. His feet has to lay flat on the ground, with the heels in the contact with the floor. Once that position is locked, the central referee gives the start command. The lifter lowers the bar until it touches his chest. The lower underside of both of his elbow joints have to be at level or below the top surface of each shoulder joint. He then has to stabilize the bar for the referee to give him the press command. The lifter has to push the bar back up until the complete extension of his elbows. The central referee gives the rack command and the lift is completed.
There are 4 main reasons to have a no lift on that movement. First, if you're not able to fully extend your elbows at the beginning and at the end of the movement. Second, if you don't touch the chest with the bar, or if your elbows don't go at level or below the top of your shoulder joint. Third, if you're not able to maintain all points of contact with the bench, knowing the head, the shoulders, and the butt. Fourth, if the lift isn't completed in a single upward movement.
A wonderful day at the IPF World Classic and Equipped Sub-Junior and Junior Powerlifting Competition in Cluj-Napoca, Romania. On the screen you can see the running order of the squat event. We have seen some wonderful lifting. Emilia, what do you think?
Yeah, we've seen some huge lifts so far. We know that Roberts in the 83 kilo sub-junior is running away a bit with the total, but there is a bit more of a fight in the juniors amongst Engo Monson and Sacchetti, so that'll be a really interesting fight to see all the way until the end. But of course, we also will be getting individual medals in bench press, so looking forward to seeing who will be fighting for those as well.
Kicking off the bench press event, we have David Stanis from Romania, and he will be opening with 112.5 kilos.
Start. Press. Rack.
Looks good.
And that is a good lift.
For those at home, in the bench press event, we have 3 commands. We have the start command, which will be followed by the descending of the barbell. We have the press command after a standstill on the chest. And after that, we have the rack command after the elbows are fully locked out.
Yeah, I think an important point to note there is that it's not a certain amount of time the bar has to be on the chest. It is as soon as the bar is stationary, they can get that command to press.
The next lifter, Rishabh Kala from India, looking to solidify his first attempt with 135 kilos.
Yeah, Rishabh walked away with the squat gold medal.
Was a bit of work, but it's 2-1. Good lift. He has a blue.
Yeah, we'll have a look again at the replay, and often in equipped it's hard to tell until maybe the second whether it's an equipment issue or a strength issue, but it did look like he reached a sticking point past the point where the equipment was helping, for sure.
Followed by his teammate Sam Ignatius, India, and he is opening with 137.5 kilos.
Yeah, I'm wondering if his head went up a little bit there. No, unfortunately, it's just the camera angle there. It is a good lift nonetheless. He just carefully gets it down to his chest. Yeah, I think it moved, but it didn't go up. So I think it's absolutely fine. Often with the bencher, the hardest part of the opener can actually be getting the weight down to the chest and getting that standstill on your chest.
That is, of course, a trade-off with the helping of the bench suit. It's so stiff that it's hard to reach that proper depth on the chest, but it helps tremendously. Next up, Alex Janowicz from Poland, 140 kilos. And he had no trouble touching the chest, a little bit of work going up.
3 white lights, a good lift. Yeah, he keeps really nice position there as he works through the more challenging part of the lift.
And the bar is loaded for our next competitor, Oskar Dahlqvist from Sweden. And he's opening up with 150 kilos.
I believe Oskar is the first Swedish lifter that we've seen so far this championships. And we know we have a big showing of them in the classic. But nice to see them showing up here in the equipped as well.
Very controlled on the way down, a bit of work on the way up.
And he gets 2-1, a good lift. He just gets a blue from the left-hand side referee. And it was a little jolty. I don't think it went down, but I imagine that's what the command was for. The blue card, sorry, was for.
We have the same weight loaded on the bar for our Bulgarian lifter, Valentin Kolev. Hopefully he can get a better start to the bench press event than he had on the squat event.
Start.
He went 1 for 3 on squats.
Really careful towards the chest there. Did a fantastic job. And is it good lift?
Yes, good lift. So in the squat event, he missed his first and his second. He retook the same weight on his second, and then he said, you know, this is not heavy enough for me to hit depth. Let me just add 10 kilos to that, and then he got it on his third.
Yeah, a risky play, but worked out really well for him at the end of the day.
Now the third lifter in a row with 150 kilos is Ihor Nikitin from Ukraine.
Yeah, looks like his feet are a little uneven there. But manages to use his legs, push through, and get a nice clean opener there. Whatever works for him, I suppose.
It looked like no problem at all for Nikitin.
Yeah, he had a really successful squat session, walking away with squat silver.
Walking up to the platform, Jakub Golianek, Poland, with 160 kilos. He's firing himself up. Stomping his feet onto the ground.
Has been competing since he was 15 years old. I must say, I don't know if I was doing anything productive when I was 15.
Start. Press.
And he locks it out, one arm at a time there. It's a nice looking opener, and it's 3 white lights. Now we've seen before when a lifter locks out one arm at a time, that sometimes when it gets heavier that becomes more prominent. What do you think there?
Yeah, I think indeed it can be a problem. Sometimes it's just a misgroove where you don't keep your composure properly, and you can fix that on your second. A really aggressive unrack. An easy opener for Lucas Rosenal from Czechia with 165 kilo.
But unfortunately it's 2-1, a no lift. He gets a yellow from the center and side referee there. Have a look here at the replay. This is
We see daylight, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, they've newly put in a light either side of the lifter on the bench so they can see that more clearly in that replay camera and for the referees. So hopefully he can come back for his second and keep that down.
Next up, we move to David Rubits from Ukraine, 170 kilos.
Wow. Blocks out one arm at a time, but it moves so powerfully and so strong. It's 3 white lights, a good lift, and he has secured himself a total. For now, we'll have to wait until he gets to deadlifts, of course, but he still has that hefty lead ahead in the sub-juniors. And should all go well for him, I think he'll be pretty much impossible to catch.
Next up, we have Yusei Goto from Japan with 185 kilos. This is still some kilos away from his personal best. So this might be a conservative opener. Notice he's been competing for 7 years already, so this could have been at any time in his career, maybe even in a higher class.
Ooh, a little bit of a sticking point there on the way up, but I think he's okay there, and he is. 3 white lights, he has a bench on the board and is safe. I mean, yeah, his comp PB, I think you said, is 208 kilos, and although he's opening on 185, that's not, you know, a mile off of his best ever.
Next up, we see Grégory Austin from Belgium. He dropped his opener 5 kilos. I went to see him during the break, and he told me on his second squat, his suit ripped apart. Yeah.
Wow.
So when he went in the hole, it just completely ruptured, and that's why he opted not to go for a third, because he had no gear.
Yeah, a sensible decision there. Save himself a bench and deadlifts. Super controlled, trying to find that chest. Lovely soft touch.
And that was strong, a strong opener.
Yeah, really well executed from Gregory there. And 3 white lights, hopefully has a more peaceful ride through bench press than he did through squats. We have just 2 opening attempts left before we move straight through to second attempts.
And the second to last opener is for Lars Engo Monsen from Norway. He's giving some instructions to the spotter that gives the handout.
Yeah, and as we said before, Engo Monsen and Sacchetti are going to be fighting to the end for that first place. 2.5 kilos separates them, so actually how easy their bench openers look respectively is going to tell us how much they'll jump and whether they can split apart from each other there.
was fairly easy.
Yeah, that looks nice. And it is a good lift, 3 white lights. So hopefully for himself, he can add a fair amount there to his bench. But I imagine so will his competitor, who's opening last.
And we will see him step onto the platform next. It is our Italian lifter, Davide Secetti, 215 kilos. This to stay ahead on prognosis to Monson. It was a bit more work.
Yeah, he seemed to come down to his chest lopsided, and I think maybe if he fixes that up, it will be a little bit easier in his second. But it is a good lift, and you know what? He is lifting a lot of weight, so it's bound to look a little bit hard sometimes. Of course, you want your opener to be nice and easy, and I think it was just a technical issue there because it looked good otherwise.
Also, maybe a quick note, when we say how much competitors are apart from each other, it is always on prognosis. We don't know what they will do. We don't know whether or not they will get their next attempt in or not.
Yeah, and it will really all unfold on the last deadlifts. You know, we won't know until then, and that's what keeps it exciting all the way along as they come closer together, they pull further apart. It's a good story.
And we are already into the second round of the bench press event for David Stanis, Romania. He jumped 5 kilos to 117.5.
Did really well to come back from that. His right arm shot up and locked out. His left arm was a little slower to follow, but managed to do so, and it is a good lift. I'm sure we can see that here on the replay. Power of his chest.
You really catch that one, for sure. He pushes the bar all the way to the left side. Incredibly impressive that he caught it back.
Yeah, he started tipping off of the bench as well, so managed to stay on the bench to push the weight up. And should he fix that in a second, I imagine it would be really nice and smooth for him.
Next up, also a 5 kilo jump from Rishabh Kala, Indian lifter, 140 kilos for his second attempt. He is still a long way from his personal best. But like I said before, this could have been in a different category.
Ooh, a little difficult there. We'll catch that again on the replay and have a look. But I think he's saying to his coach, no, I'm not going to take another lift. So perhaps he's working through an injury. Yeah, he just shakes his head there and says, I'm not pushing through that. And if he's working through something, and as you said, his PB is higher than that, then it's not worth injuring yourself.
And there are many reasons why it could be a bit lower. We are going to his teammate, Sam Ignatius, also jumping 5 kilo, 142.5. And that was a lot easier.
Yeah, a lot of power off the chest there, and as we suspected, picked something up and managed to push through nice and strong on his second. We now have Alex Janowicz of Poland, 145 kilos. Really nice soft touch there. Pushing back, getting a little caught in the middle there.
He has a sticking point. He hit a wall. Unfortunately, I think, I don't know if he kept his ideal bar path.
Yeah, it seemed to go very upwards rather than back.
So maybe he can correct this on his third, you think?
I think it's entirely possible. I think it's so much harder to tell with equipped bench, whether it's a strength issue or whether it's because of their equipment or position. So I'd like to give the lifter the benefit of the doubt there.
I think that is a wise decision because we have seen crazier things than that this week.
Absolutely.
But now for Valentin Kolev, Bulgaria, 157.5 kilos for his second attempt.
Start.
Very controlled. No.
Again, that left arm just struggling to keep up with the right arm. And that does, as we said, become more problematic as the weights increase. Yeah, just struggling to push past that sticking point. I always find it interesting seeing equipped lifters without wrist straps on. It feels like they're wearing half the uniform almost.
Making a 10 kilo jump from his opener, Oskar Dahlqvist, Sweden. 160 kilos. Really close to his personal best.
Wow, really strong second attempt there from Oscar.
And that was a sensible jump from him.
Yeah, and I think actually looked more confident than his opener after seeing that.
And it's, of course, 3 white lights, a good lift.
Helping handle him there, we have Agnes, who is a junior in the Classic and will be competing later in the week.
A very strong and impressive lifter. Like you said, we will see a lot more of the Swedish team later this week. But next up, we have Ihor Nikitin, Ukraine, 12.5 kilo jump, 162.5 kilos for his second attempt.
Did a really good job of pushing that through there.
Really nice and consistent push. And it's a good lift.
Yeah, I'd imagine to see a slightly smaller jump to his third, but still looking like he has a little bit left in the tank. What do you think?
A smaller jump seems sensible to me as well. You want to build that total. If you, for example, if you choose to go up 5 kilo and you get it, it's 5 kilos toward your total. If you go up 2.5 more and you miss it, that's 5 kilo you could have gotten that you don't have now. Next up, Lucas Rosenal, Czechia, trying to retake his opener. It was a bit too heavy, or maybe a technical issue, let's see. And that was way better.
Yeah, I think it probably was a problem with equipment or technical. He does still get 2-1 a good lift, but he gets a yellow from the center referee, which could be for a skipped command or a lift of the head, feet, or butt. Can't seem to see an issue from that angle, so I think he'll be safe. And it is a good lift.
And I don't see the jury taking action, so it will be a good lift. And we are on to the next lifter, Jakub Golianek from Poland.
I'm glad you finished your sentence there, because there definitely is a jury here. We can see the jury.
Yeah, of course.
Just not them talking.
10 kilo jump from his opener.
sticking point, but he breaks through it relatively quickly. Did it look like a good lift? And it is. He gets 3 white lights and can continue to build on his third. Now, although there isn't much of a fight for first place in the 83 kilo sub-juniors, there will be a bit of a battle for who gets silver and who gets bronze between Golianek and Nikitin. So I imagine that they're going to want to get every kilo they can there.
You were just introducing him, David Rubits, Ukraine, 180 kilos, taking the lead in the bench press and also first on prognosis by a vast gap.
And again, the left locks out for the right, but it doesn't bother him too much, and it is a good lift. And I'm sure you'll see in the replay, but he has a lovely high rib cage, and he has a lovely soft touch, which helps him push off of his chest here with great control.
You could almost put an egg between his chest and the bar.
You almost could. I wouldn't, but you could.
Next up, with another 10 kilo jump from his opener, we see Yusei Goto, Japan, to 195 kilos. If he makes this attempt, this will put him temporarily into third place in the bench press event. Oh, great catch by the spotters. So he does not get this one.
He of course does have a third attempt at that, should he want to come out to try it. Of course, lifters never have to take any attempts. It's complete their choice, but it does seem like...
He lost it
backward. It tipped towards his head, and you do see that when equipped lifters are wearing tight bench shirts. Their arms kind of are somewhat stuck in that position, and it tips forwards, or backwards rather, to his head.
And they really try to push backwards as well.
It's a very careful balance to find.
Yeah. So next up, fellow Belgian lifter Grégory Austin, 202.5 kilos, a 7.5 kilo jump. This is a massive bench press for him.
Yeah, this will be a PB by 7.5 kilos for Gregory, should he get this. He's also in a shot for fighting for the podium overall.
Yes, and these kilos will really help him. He's not far behind on prognosis on the third position for now.
Yeah, first and second are a little bit out of reach, but he will be able to fight Goto of Japan to get onto that podium overall.
And these were very important kilos to do so.
Absolutely.
I think he can get a fairly good shot at it. But now onto the last 2 bench presses of the second round. We have Lars Engo Monsen from Norway, having jumped 7.5 kilos to 212.5.
Yeah, and with him taking 7.5 kilos and Sacchetti taking 5, it puts them on equal totals in prognosis, with Sacchetti just slightly lighter. Engo weighing in 83 kilos on the dot.
A very nice looking second. A bit of work, but still a very nice bench press.
Yeah, I mean, just like his squats, he's such an efficient lifter, so tidy, and it really pays off when the weights get heavier. So that is a good lift, 3 white lights, and at least for now, he would want to match and keep up with whatever jumps Sacchetti makes before heading into deadlifts, as Engo Monsen has the higher deadlift opener.
Speaking of the devil, Davide Sacchetti is up next. Italy with 220 kilos. And if he wants to keep up with with Monson, he really needs to get this one. Every kilo is going to count. It is very tight.
Yeah, and he's already above his bench press PB with this second attempt, so swimming in unknown waters to try and keep up with Engo Monson.
And it looks good to me.
Yeah, and it is a good lift, and dare I say, actually very similar looking second attempts for the two lifters.
I was about to ask what you think Monson can do on his third, but I see he already put up 5 kilos.
Yeah, and I do think that 5 kilos for both of those lifters are going to be really on the cusp of what they're going to be able to do today. But I think with Engo Monson's form staying so tidy throughout, he might be able to push through that. So it'll be really interesting to see as we head into third attempts where we will end up.
We'll see how it unfolds in the third round. We see the spotters cleaning up the bench press, making sure we have the best possible circumstances for each and every lifter. Kicking off the third round, David Stanis from Romania, and he jumped 2.5 kilos to 120 kilo. It's the smallest possible jump you can make unless you attempt a world record. Then you can go up in weight by 0.5 kilo.
Ooh, a little bit of trouble there, and unfortunately just too much for David Stanis of Romania. But as you mentioned, 2.5 kilos was the smallest that you can jump, so he doesn't lose much out there.
He didn't lose anything because he wasn't strong enough to complete this lift, so he has still the most amount of weight that he could have gotten.
Absolutely.
And now our Polish lifter trying to retake his second attempt, 145 kilos, Alex Janowicz.
And he's pushing through, but unfortunately, again, it's just a little bit too much. He missed it on his second, and I think it was, in the end, a strength issue.
The bar is now loaded. Let's see how he does for the third time.
The bar is loaded for Sam Ignatius, taking a little bit of a higher jump from his second to third than he took from his first to second, to 150 kilos.
Wow.
Pushed a bit forward. He's trying to correct.
Yeah, he locked out one arm, but unfortunately just one would not follow. And I don't think he was able to push through that in the end.
I think he was a bit out of line in his bar path. He pushed a little bit too much forward, and then he tried correcting it, going back to his line, but unfortunately it was too late.
160 kilograms, Valentin Kolen, Bulgaria.
And now we're seeing Valentin Kolev from Bulgaria. He missed his second, but he's still going up 2.5 kilos. Is that a smart move or not, Emilia?
Well, again, similar to the squats, we're not sure if it is a strength issue or he just thinks he needs a little bit more weight on the bar to be able to find the chest and push through. And he is fighting, but I'm not sure if he can lock it out there.
Honestly, I think if he kept his weight at 157.5, I think he could have gotten it.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what it was that convinced him to move up, because it didn't change his placement overall, but maybe he is chasing a certain total there, or a personal best. Obviously, when we come to these international competitions, not everyone can win, not everyone can get a podium position, so people usually come with different goals for themselves, and maybe a 160 bench was that for him.
That's really, really nice, worth mentioning. Now our next competitor, Ihor Nikitin from Ukraine, jumping to 167.5, already has the bronze medal in the sub-juniors. He can't catch silver. So the medals in the bench press event are already decided.
Unfortunately, just a bit too much today, but as you said, he does not lose the bronze medal in bench, and he is still going to be fighting for that silver medal overall with Golianek of Poland.
Coming up to the platform, taking another 10 kilo jump from his second with 170 kilos is Oskar Dahlqvist from Sweden. For his third and final bench press, he's been lifting really well.
Wow, I think a perfectly called third attempt there for Oskar. And 2-1, a good lift. He just gets a yellow call from the side referees there, which I'm just looking at here. I think he'll be safe. I can't see lift of any sort, and the jury don't seem to be discussing it in any manner. So I think he'll be safe, and it is a good lift, a perfect call for the Swedish lifter.
Of course, we only see one angle. There's a lot happening on that platform.
Yeah, bench is definitely the most technical of the three lifts. The most can go wrong. You have to think about the most. There are the most rules. So I'm sure they'll
commands.
Yeah, absolutely. And they'll be pretty relieved, I'm sure, to get this out of the way.
Next up, with 172.5 kilos, we have Lukas Roznal from Czechia.
Start.
That was very nice.
Yeah, a perfectly called third attempt there. He missed 165 on his opener, so I imagine this was his planned second, but it doesn't mean that he didn't expend that energy twice. So I think you see some people try to go, oh, we'll just go for my planned third anyway. And more often than not, they don't have it because they've already expended that extra energy.
Now we see Jakub Golianek from Poland going to 180. This is matching the same weight as his competitor Rubitz, but he will not take the gold medal with this because he is 20 grams heavier.
Yeah, it is really tight between the two of them in terms of body weight. That's one extra sip of water.
A small sip.
Yeah.
But it's just too heavy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he couldn't maintain his position.
I think you can see from the moment it hit his chest, actually, that it was pretty heavy for him. You can see here on the replay, it really sinks down quite heavily.
Also lopsided.
It's hard to come back for, and we said before, as the weight gets heavier, if you are lopsided, it's a lot harder to fix. If it's your opener, sure, it's a weight you know you can do, but when you're in the territory of weight you're not sure about, a lot harder.
And now for our gold medalist in the bench press event, also in the squat event. And first in prognosis on total, we have David Rubits from Ukraine attempting 185 kilos.
Wow.
That looks all his 3 attempts look all the same. Left side locks out a little bit earlier than his right side, but nevertheless a good lift.
Yeah, he's looking really strong, and powerlifting runs in the family for him. His brother has competed, and now he is taking the throne himself. You mentioned he's got squat gold and squat bench, and he actually has some competition for deadlift gold there from Nikitin. Will be interesting to see.
Now a very interesting attempt by Yusei Goto from Japan, jumping 10 kilos from his second, which he missed. I wonder if it's to stay ahead of the competition overall, because we see Austin Gregory with the same prognosis total, but this is only if he gets this.
Yeah, it could be a bit of a Hail Mary, but the second may have been a technical issue. Clips the rack on the underneath, and unfortunately, with that much weight, it's going to come back down at you, and it's not quite there.
And that leaves the door open for Austin Gregory. He's already in bronze position in the bench press, and if he gets this on prognosis on total, he's really pulling ahead for the 3rd position.
Yeah, for Goto, that would have added 20 kilos to his total overall, and that would have made a huge difference. But as you so rightly said there, that now leaves a marginal gap between Gregory and himself heading into deadlifts. Should Gregory get this?
And we see Miriam. She has been refereeing this whole week, and now she is coaching our Belgian lifter. And we look at each other and we say we both love Miriam for all her good work.
One arm goes, the other arm is locking out.
What an effort, what an attempt.
And let's see, it is a good lift.
A good lift for Austin. He will be happy. His bench press went a lot better than his squat. Unfortunately, his squat suit ripped apart.
Yeah, he only got 1 squat in, I think. But, I mean, to be in that position and still fighting for that bronze overall is fantastic.
Very impressive lifting. But now moving on to an even bigger bench press. He's already solidified 2nd place on the bench press, but he's really looking for those extra kilos for the prognosis overall.
Yeah, so they've both made a 5 kilo jump, so it's going to be really close heading into deadlifts.
Lars Ingo Monsen, Norway. And I think he did it.
Actually, I think it'll move better than his second, and is a good lift. And as we keep saying, he is such a tidy lifter, and that is helping him so much when it gets to these 3rd attempts.
And he's just adding the chips, building his total.
Yeah, and that puts the pressure on David Sacchetti of Italy, because you know, now he's going to have to make this to keep them on the same total. If not, he falls 5 kilos behind Ingo Monsen.
This is a true neck-on-neck race. Take a sip of water, take your popcorn, and enjoy the show. Davide Sacchetti, Italy, 225 kilos. 4 red plates. This is a PV.
Oh, unfortunately, it's just a little bit too much for him. He still walks away with bench gold, but it does mean that the gap is ever so slightly grown between him and Ingo Monsen.
I will take a quick recap before we head into a small 20-minute break. Let's see at the scoreboard. For the sub-juniors 83 kg class, in the gold medal position we have David Rubits from Ukraine with 185 kilos, Jakub Golianek from Poland in the second position, silver, with 170 kilos, and in that bronze medal position it is Ihor Nikitin. Just to clarify, this is in the bench press event, of course. And heading into the juniors, in first position, gold medal position in the bench press, Davide Secchetti, Italy. Second place, silver, Lars Engo Mansen, Norway, with 217.5 kg. And in the third bronze position, we have Gregory Austin from Belgium, 207.5 kg. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in about 19 minutes with the deadlift event.
The deadlift is the last movement of the powerlifting competition. On that movement, the lifter's whole body is used and put to the test. The athlete approaches the bar once the central referee calls bar loaded. He then has 1 minute
to start the lift.
In the conventional or sumo position, the athlete has to pull the barbell until his shoulders, hips, and knees are fully locked. Once that position is assumed by the lifter, the central referee will give the down command. The bar has to be lowered to the ground without the lifter being allowed to drop it until it touches the floor, which completes the lift. At the end of deadlift, the powerlifting total is made, which determines the winner and final placings. There are 4 main mistakes to avoid. First, not locking your shoulders, hips, or knees at the end of the movement. Second, not completing the lift with a single upward bar movement. Third, completing the lift hitching at the legs in order to allow you to do so. Fourth, dropping the bar after the central referee down command.
A very good afternoon. My name is Elias. We are here at the IPF World Classic and Equipped Sub-Junior and Junior Powerlifting Championships in Cluj-Napoca, Romania. I am here with my colleague Amelia, and on the screen you can see the subtotals from the juniors and the sub-juniors in the 83 kilogram class. We have still our deadlifts to add to that total. Amelia, what have we seen today so far?
We've seen some incredible lifting so far, and we've seen everybody be able to post a total as we are. There's a bit of a runaway in the sub-juniors with Rubets of Ukraine, but we have in the juniors between Engo Monson and Sacchetti a close fight until the end for first. And interestingly enough, it seems like Engo Monson has dropped his opener by 2.5 kilos, which means that there is only 2.5 kilos between him and Sacchetti now, and he needs to win by 2.5 kilos at least because Engo Monson is heavier.
Do you think it's a strategical drop or if it's a strength issue in the warm-up room?
Yeah, it definitely could be a strength issue. I'm hoping it's not, but I can't see too much strategy in dropping.
First up, we have David Stanis from Romania with 157.5 for his opener. And that was sure easy.
Yeah, really nice opener there. And as we always say, you want your opener to be something that you can do under any circumstances. If you have to rush, if you have to retake it, you know, if something goes wrong, it's a weight you want to be able to pull.
The second lifter in our first round of deadlifts is Alex Janowicz from Poland. 210 kilos on the bar.
Seems like he had a little bit of trouble at the lockout there.
It was super speedy off the floor, but then his shoulders couldn't get back properly.
Well, yeah, it also seemed like he couldn't get his hips through. So we'll look again from a better view from the side, where hopefully we can see his lockout or lack of a bit better here.
On this angle, I only see the shoulders, but you were right, the hips definitely had a delay.
Yeah, so hopefully that's something he can fix for a second, and exactly why we were saying before, your opener needs to be something that you can replicate.
And that was 7.5 kilos above his personal best already. But now, next up, we have Jakub Golianek, Poland, 215, also 5 kilo above his personal best. But this one was snappy.
Yeah, it seems like he's made some great progress, and we see that very often in the sub-juniors, that they fly past what we see as their PBs in competition.
kilograms.
Our next lifter, Ihor Nikitin, Ukraine, 225 kilos on his first attempt in the deadlift event. This is also 5 kilos above his personal best.
Ooh, seemed to just tip forwards at the top there and fall over the top, maybe feeling a little lightheaded after that, but he seems okay as he walks off. You can see he gets to the top and just has an issue staying locked out as he begins to tip over right here onto his tiptoes.
And now we see a different strategy. I think he really wants to make sure he gets a total because he got first on squats, first on bench press, and it's David Rubits from Ukraine opening with 225.
Yeah, so as you were saying, this is 25 kilos below his best, so maybe opening a little bit light to secure the win for himself and to build from there.
And I think he just did.
Yeah, there we go. It's a good lift, and he is going to walk away the sub-junior 83 kilo champion. And I do think anyway, yeah, world champion. And I do think that actually was a well-called opener for him. I don't think it was ridiculously light. I think it was just light enough and just heavy enough.
And he has some room to grow on his second and third. Now moving into the juniors, we have Lucas Rosenal from Czechia opening 235.
Yeah, that was a nice quick opener for Lucas. And it's a good lift. And as we were saying before, getting a deadlift in doesn't just mean that they are continuing to build their total. It means that they've secured their total, and that means it is especially important for those who are fighting for medals or overall placement.
And we have now Yusei Goto from Japan, 245 kg. I'm not sure if his knees are locked.
2-1, a good lift. I think the center referee just agreed with you there, although I thought soft knees would have been a different color infraction, but
It was on his right knee,
yeah,
and
but
this angle you can't really see it, but
I think he's fine, and it is a good lift for him. So he secured himself a total.
now more important lift for Davide Secchetti. Italy, 245, needs to build that total to compete with Monson.
Yeah, that was a nice solid opener, and it is a good lift. And because Sacchetti is the lighter of the two lifters, he can match the total and still take the title. So Engo Monson is going to want to stay at least 2.5 kilos ahead if he wants to take the win.
And keep in mind, Monson has the bigger deadlift, so he can just load the bar with exactly what he needs to secure the W.
Yeah, and dropping by 2.5 kilos seems like a really peculiar choice. I'll be interested to see what his opener is like and why he did that. But
Next up, Rishabh Kala, India, with 255 kilos. And he's not in a deadlift suit, he's just in a singlet, but it works for him. It's a 3 white light, good lift.
Yeah, and the lifters, you know, it's their utmost decision, it's their complete choice whether they use equipment all the way through for some of it or not at all in equip. There are no rules saying how much or how often you should use it.
we see the Norwegian Lars Engo Monsen, 257.5.
Yeah.
This to keep up with Sicchetti.
And he's been such a tidy lifter throughout. I imagine it will remain through his deadlifts. I'll be interested to see how this moves.
They've both really been really on point.
Absolutely. Yeah, again, such a tidy deadlift from Lars Engo
And he looks
Monsen.
confident.
Yeah, he does, and I think he'll be able to take a good jump in between. And I think the benefit he has now is that he is the bigger deadlifter of him and Sicchetti, so he can see what Sicchetti is doing and just put what he needs on the bar to then lift for the win. He won't lose silver. They're both firmly in gold and silver, but we just need to find out what order that will be.
Oskar Dahlqvist, Sweden, 260. Oh, a little bounce on his lockout. Did the bar go down?
Yeah, unfortunately, as you so rightly said there, it's 2-1 a no lift. He just gets to the lockout. Unfortunately, can't complete it as he wobbles a bit. You can see just here.
And he's not completely locked out, maybe.
Yeah, it definitely looked better on the replay, but still perhaps not quite good enough. But he still has 2 more shots at that.
The front angle is more favorable for the lockout than
absolutely.
the side angles. Now next up, Sam Ignatius, India, 265 kilos. This is already 7.5 above his PB.
And that is 2-1 a good lift. Just a red from one of the side referees. And I think, whereas you were right, it is in some ways easier to tell the lockout from the front. There are other points of the lockout which are easier to tell from the side referees, but that's exactly why we have 1 center referee and 2 side referees, so we get every angle possible to tell if it was a good lift.
Now we have Grégory Austin, Belgique, 277,
And for the English speaking viewers at home, 275 kilos.
trying to secure his prognosis on third. And he just did.
Yeah, that was a really tidy, speedy looking opener for Gregory and a good lift. He has secured himself a total and moves forward in the competition.
Valentin Kolev, Bulgaria, also 275 kilos.
Ooh, a little bit stuck there, still pulling through.
Can he pull his shoulders back?
I don't know if his shoulders or his hips were locked out there. No, unfortunately not, which is really concerning. He had a little trouble with squats as well. Missed his first 2 on depth. Went up 10 kilos, got it on his third. Yeah, you can see his shoulders just aren't through. So hopefully that is something he can fix in his second. The strength is clearly there, although he did get caught on the legs as well a little bit, so maybe already a little bit heavy, but I'm hoping not.
Moving on to the second round, we have David Stanis, Romania, and he has jumped 12.5 kilos, 170 for his second attempt.
Putting up a fantastic performance, the 16-year-old. Wow, he fights through it really well, and I'm hoping there wasn't any sort of hitching there.
And 2 referees didn't see it. Was 2 white lights, 1 blue.
Yeah, as I said, the blue that he got there would have been from supporting But from that side angle, it does look better. It does look like perhaps he wasn't supporting, so hopefully that stays as a good lift for him.
Trying to get on the board, Alex Janowicz, Poland, retaking 210 kilos. You need one valid attempt for each lift to make up a total. So this is an important lift for him. And that looked better.
Yeah, that looked really good. I'm not too sure what happened in this first, but that one went well. A good lift, and he secured himself a total. He's pretty secure in 4th overall. 5th is very far behind, and he won't quite reach the podium. So he does a good job of securing that 4th place for himself.
Now his teammate, Jakub Golianek, also Poland, 227.5 kg, 500 pounds. He's already on total in 2nd position.
He seems pretty happy with that 2nd attempt, and he should be. 3 white lights, a good lift.
And trying to take that silver medal position total. Ihor Nikitin, Ukraine, 235, opted to go up 10 kilos from his opener, which he missed.
Yeah, a really interesting strategy here for Ihor, but he's still fighting for that silver medal overall, and I imagine wants to stay in the race.
But that was way better.
Yeah, much better. You can see he was still tempted to move and tip forwards towards the top, but he stopped himself. It's a good lift. He's back on the board. He's secured himself a total.
So every sub-junior lifter will make a total. They're on the board, and now it's fighting for that 2nd and 3rd position. The 1st position is has already been decided. Now for the juniors, we have Lucas Rosenal, Czechia, 245 kilos.
And that is a good lift. He continues to build that total.
And now the bar is loaded for our Ukrainian lifter, David Rubec, 245 kilos.
This is a 20 kilo jump from his opener. He already has squat gold, bench gold, and gold overall, and I'm sure he wants to complete the set.
This would be an incredible feat. A bit too much work for him today.
Yeah, unfortunately just a little bit too much, and I think the 20 kilo jump was maybe not the right decision for his 2nd attempt. Perhaps won't walk away with the queen sweep of 4 golds, but that's just being greedy, I suppose.
He already has squat, bench press, and overall.
An incredible day nonetheless, and he still has 1 more attempt.
Next up, Yusei Goto, Japan, 255. Gambare!
And let's see what the referees say. 2-1, a good lift. Similar sort of issues last time. Got a red from the center referee, as from the front his knees perhaps didn't look completely locked. Let's see from the side angle though. Again, looks slightly better from the side. but nonetheless, he gets the lift.
Retaking his opener, trying to get on the board, Oskar Dahlqvist, Sweden. He needs to clean up his lockout. And he did, I think.
He didn't have that tip at the top that he had last time, and it is a good lift. He secured himself a total. And I'm sure that is a big relief for the athlete.
Now, an important lift. This will set the tone for the third round. Davide Sicchetti, Italia, 260 kilos to keep up with Monson.
Ooh, a bit of trouble there. He just tipped over and he runs off the platform. You see that again here in the replay. You can see he hinges down. As he takes the slack out the bar and pulls it up, his body just tips back over the weight.
His knees
there we go.
Way early,
So
and he falls forward.
Maybe a fixable problem, but that does leave the door wide open for Engo Monson,
Yeah, it does.
who is currently in the lead. And should he get his next lift,
And this is what
widens
it's
the
all
gap.
about.
Yeah.
You need to make attempts. You see, Sicchetti just missed one attempt, and the gap widens. So now Rishabh Kala, 265. No, unfortunately, just a bit too heavy for him. He's had a good day, but unfortunately, this was too heavy.
Yeah, and the good news is he secured himself a total, so he still competes and he still walks away with the gold squat medal. So still a fantastic day, as you said, for him.
Now, judging from his opener, I think this attempt from Lars Engo Monson, Norway, will be fairly easy. But let's see. 272.5 kg, 600 pounds.
This is a very important lift.
Can he pull ahead?
This will make it hard for Sicchetti if he gets this.
And he does.
And he does. Wow, what a fantastic second attempt. It is a good lift. And I think with that, he's made a real difficult job for Sicchetti.
I think you're right. He would have to go up
A lot
12.5 kilos.
on top of what he just
Yes.
missed. That leaves a big gap in between the two. So we'll see what happens when we get to thirds. But for now, we move to the rest of the second attempts.
Sam Ignatius, 272.5 kilos, India. Very nice.
Yeah, a really tidy second attempt there, and could be in contention for a deadlift medal should his third go just as well.
Our last lifter trying to make a total, who hasn't made a valid deadlift attempt yet, trying to get it on his second, retaking his opener of 275 kilos. Valentin Kolev from Bulgaria.
And he gets stuck in the same place again and is struggling to lock it out. I'm not sure if he will. He gets the down command, but to no avail. Unfortunately, it is a no lift. And I think he's pulling double overhand as well. And struggling to get those shoulders back and locked out. He has one more attempt at it, but it's looking like a hard fix.
Now jumping 10 kilos. Austin Gregory, 285, trying to secure his third position. A bit hard at the top.
Yeah, I think I was worried about his lockup then, but then he went a little further back and did a good job of doing so, because I think if he didn't, he wouldn't have got that lift, but he did.
But he is in first place in the deadlift event so far.
Yeah, and I can't imagine, based on that, it will be taken from him by anyone but potentially Engo Monson. And that depends on how Oyston's next deadlift goes. We move straight through now to the third attempts.
Kicking off the third round, David Stanis from Romania jumped 2.5 kilos again for the smallest amount, and he,
Just a little bit too heavy, but
again he didn't lose any weight.
yeah, as you said, it's the smallest amount that he could have jumped, and the strength wasn't there, so he doesn't lose anything. Ends with a perfectly respectable 450 total.
In the third round of the deadlift, after each attempt, the bar will be cleaned, so each lifter has the perfect circumstances to complete their last lift of the day. We have now Alex Janowicz from Poland, 225. He's trying to take a bronze medal position in the deadlift event.
And interestingly enough, if he gets this and Rubets misses his next, he will take the bronze over him, because he is lighter, but unfortunately just doesn't have it today. But that doesn't lose his position overall. Ends up 4th overall. Which means that Rubets will, at the very least, walk away with a bronze medal to match his golds.
Hyping himself up. Jakub Golianek from Poland, 237.5 kg, trying to get a first place in the deadlift event so far and move from third to second on total.
Oh, such a shame. He was so patient off of the ground. And honestly, I was surprised when he broke the ground, because it looked difficult, but did a great job of it. And we have had an attempt change, and we will watch as that comes in. And that has been for Ihor Nikitin, has dropped down to 245 kilos. As he is lighter of him and Rubets, this will give him deadlift gold, should he get this. And Rubets gets his also. But should they both miss, he still walks away with deadlift gold nonetheless. So also secure him silver place overall.
Ihor Nikitin, Ukraine, 245 kg.
Already walking away with a silver medal overall. This is for the gold deadlift medal. Wow. An amazing final lift there from Ihor. He missed his opener, went up, got it, went up again, and is walking away with the deadlift gold in the sub-junior 83s. Fantastic end to the day for Nikitin, and a great call to pull it down to 245 kilos, I think.
Now the last attempt from David Rubitz, who's had an amazing day so far. Squat gold, bench gold, overall gold, deadlift bronze, and can he go up to silver?
This will also bring his total over 700 kilos to 715. As a sub-junior. He's got it moving.
Yeah,
wow.
It was better.
He manages to lock it out. He lets out a scream. And this time round, it's a good lift, and he walks away with deadlift silver. And I don't think he had another kilo in him there. A fantastic final pull from the lifter who's had an amazing day today.
And although this was so exciting, we still have all the juniors to go. We already know what the podium looks like in the sub-juniors, but can things still change up in the juniors?
Yeah, I think our gold and silver are pretty settled for in the juniors now, with Sacchetti missing his second, but that means that we have a fight for the podium in bronze between Goto and Oystein. Wow, fantastic effort from Lucas Rosenhall. Shecky there, but just a little bit too heavy for him today. Perhaps a 10 kilo jump was just a bit too much of a leap.
Now, we have a very important lift for Davide Sacchetti, Italia. He is trying to catch up to overall gold. Should he get this? He missed 260 on his second attempt, went up ahead to 62.5, trying to get over Monson.
Yeah, and I imagine the Norwegian coaches are standing by to drop it if he gets this to whatever he needs. Engo Monson will need to win. But this will pull him into first overall for the time being. Can he get this? It's moving better than before.
Yes, way better. His knees locked at a better time this time.
Yeah.
And he gets 3 white lights. Good lift. He is in temporary gold medal position overall. But of course, we have Monson that can take it right back from him.
Yeah, the pressure is on now for Engo Monson, who I think had a bit of a sigh of relief after Sacchetti missed his second, but now feels the pressure again. He has dropped it to 275, which will take him to 780 kilos, 2.5 more than Sacchetti's total, which is what he will need to win.
because he is the heavier lifter of the two. And the bar is loaded for Rishabh Kala from India, and he's retaking 265 kilos. Couldn't get past his knees the last time. Yeah, I thought it was a strength issue. He had a good day. He walks away with squat gold. An impressive feat.
Yeah, as you said, he walks away with squat gold. He put up a total and had a great day otherwise. So I think he still has many accomplishments to be happy with today and will walk away with many lessons as well.
And now the lift we've been waiting for to decide who will walk away with the overall gold in the junior men's 83 kg division.
Yeah, we have Lars Engo Monsen of Norway now, and he has been so tidy and efficient the way through. This is a 2.5 kilo jump from his second, which moved so well. If he gets this, he will be your 83 kilo junior world champion.
Kom igen. And he had loads in the tank. And I think we have our junior world champion. It is Lars Ego Monsen. Congratulations.
Yeah, a fantastic final pull. And as you said, I think he had some more in him if he needed it. But a great effort, has been so consistent throughout the day, and it is a well-deserved win from him there. But we are not done yet.
We have still some big deadlifts to go. And now we're moving to Valentin Kolev from Bulgaria for the third time in a row, trying to get a deadlift on the board to make a total 275. Can he lock it out?
Yeah, struggled in the same place on his thighs both times and just couldn't get his shoulders back. So let's see on this third and final attempt if he can. He's moving again, stuck in the same place. Can he lock his shoulders out this time round? He is not moving anymore, and unfortunately I think that is just not any different. And that
he
means
is showing great sportsmanship. Even though he's not getting a total, the referees say no lift. He's going to the referees, shaking their hands, saying thank you for the guidance, thank you for the refereeing.
yeah, absolutely, and it's fantastic to see. Unfortunately, he cannot post a total, and hopefully that's something him and his coach can go back and work on moving forwards, and we'll see him again soon with an excellent lockout.
What about the next one though? We see Yusei Goto from Japan. He has jumped 10 kilos from his opener to his second, and now jumping 25 to catch up to Gregory Austin.
He did a similar thing on his bench, jumping a huge leap from second to third. Let's see if it pays off now on his deadlifts.
Wow, it's moving!
Wow! What an incredible final attempt, and has he done it? Yes,
He
he
did!
has. That is a good lift
Wow.
for Goto, and he has closed the gap. Not quite enough to catch up to third place, unless it is missed by Özcan.
He should probably lower his third to make sure he solidifies third. Oh no, wait. No, they have the same total and he is lighter. Oh no, Gregory actually is heavier, so he can still lose his third position.
Yeah, he can drop it by 5 kilos still if he wants to.
I think he really should, but let's see how it plays out. Next up, we have Sam Ignatius, our superhero from India. 285 kilos for a 12.5 kg PB.
Oh, and just loses grip at
unfortunately.
the end. So not quite there. Unfortunately for him, that would have pulled him into the silver medal position for deadlifts, but as you can see, as he's looking out, just loses grip here, and once that happens,
There's
there's
no
nothing you can
coming
do.
back from that. Yeah.
And now heading directly to
So Gregory can't drop anymore because the bar is
Yeah.
loaded.
It's a risky move, but he thinks he has it, and it's just a 7.5 kilo jump from before.
So now Oscar Dahlqvist trying to go for deadlift gold and trying to move to third place. Oh, that's why.
Yeah, this is a 32.5 kilo jump from his second attempt. The biggest jump we've seen so far. Missed his opener and is hoping to make up for it now in his third. It
He's
is
actually
moving, but it
got
is stuck. Yeah.
No.
And unfortunately, not quite there today, but a fantastic effort, and you have to respect him for trying there.
So now the final deadlift of this session. We have our Belgian lifter, Gregory Austin, with 292.5 kilos. He is so confident in his deadlift that he didn't drop. He's pulling more than he should to secure a third place. Overall, already has the deadlift gold. Let's see if he can add one more medal. He's pulling.
It's moving, and
And
wow.
he did it.
With some ease, it seems. Had a little left in the tank, and,
And
it's
he
a good
did
flip. He pulls himself onto the podium, walks away with deadlift gold, and a fantastic end to the day for the Belgium lifter there.
Bien fait, Mick. We'll see you in a bit. Don't go anywhere. The medal ceremony will be shortly after. But first, to give a quick summary. In first position, gold place in the sub-juniors, we have Ihor Nikitin for deadlift gold. Second place, deadlift, David Rubits from Ukraine. And the third place in the deadlift event, we have Jakub Golyanek. For the juniors deadlift, first place, Gregory Austin. Then we have Yusei Goto from Japan, second place. And in the third place, from Norway, Lars Engo Monsen. And then overall, first place position for the sub-juniors, David Rubits from Ukraine with 715 kilos. Second place, Ihor Nikitin, also Ukraine, 647.5. And in third position, Jakub Golyanek from Poland with a 635 kilo total. And for the juniors, we have in first place position, Lars Engo Monsen from Norway. Second position, Davide Cicchetti from Italy, 777.5 kilos. And in third place position, we have Gregory Austin from Belgium, 745 kilos. Don't go anywhere. The medal ceremony will be up there, and we'll catch you later.
Everybody got participation medal. All of our lifters. And we are starting with squats, 83 kilograms sub-juniors. The third place goes to Poland, Jakub Golianek. Second comes Ukraine, Igor Nikidin. And the gold goes also to Ukraine, David Rubets. Thank you very much. Moving on to bench press. The third place goes to Igor Nikidin, Ukraine. Number 3. Second is Jakub Golianek from Poland. And the gold goes to Ukraine, David Rubets. Thank you. Moving on to squats. I'm sorry, to deadlift. Third place goes to Poland, Jakub Golianek. Ukraine goes second, David Rubets. And the winner is Igor Nikidin, Ukraine. Thank you very much. Ahead now for the turtles. The third place goes to Poland, Jakub Golianek. Igor Nikidin from Ukraine, second. And the heaviest lifter of all is David Rubets, Ukraine. Just a golden heart, Ukraine. Will you please rise for Ukraine's national anthem? Slava Ukraini. Moving on now to juniors, 83 kilograms, starting with squats. And the third place goes to Norway's Lars Elgar Hansen. Second is David Cecchetti from Italy. very much. Moving on to bench press. The third place heads for Belgium. Gregory Austin. Lars Engelmansen from Norway is second. And David Cecchetti from Italy gets the gold. Thank you kindly. Moving on to deadlift. And the third place goes to Norway, Lars Engelmansen. Second place goes to Yusei Goto. The place for the Sunrisers, Japan. And gold goes for Belgium, Gregory Austin. Thank you very much. Let's see now the total results. Third place is going for Belgium, Gregory Austin. Davide Cecchetti from Italy is second. And the gold goes for Norway, Lars Engelmansen. Will you please rise for Norway's national anthem? Congratulations, Norway and Lars Engelmansen. We will be back at 39 hours and 49 hours with women 76 and 84 kilograms, sub-juniors and juniors, and in the